Imagine winning 10 in games in a row and falling at the final hurdle. Well, the same happened to India yesterday with a fantastic performance from Australia. They were just about perfect in every sense of the game. They read the pitch, they read the conditions, and they applied the squeeze and the pressure on India. And that was a fantastic game of cricket from Australia to win their sixth World Championship title. Magnificent effort yet again. In cricket, you can never ever write off Australia when they were down and out after two games in the first in the World Cup, losing to India and South Africa, but ended up beating both of them to get the world title, winning 7 in a row after that, and completing the circle by beating South Africa in the semi-finals and the unbeaten India in the final. It was a magnificent effort on all counts from the Australians. It was simply superb. They won the toss, and surprisingly, you can say they decided to bowl first. Maybe they saw something in the pitch which excited them, and India were always looking to bat first. And India got off to their usual great self with Rohit Sharma playing some blazing shots in the initial few overs and getting to 50 in the first 6 overs. But Shubman Gill went out early. He was out, and then came Virat Kohli, and he played his natural game. But Rohit Sharma, he was looking very good at 47. Maybe looking to get another quick fire half century, but he played a very false shot against Glenn Maxwell, which wasn't really needed, and he was terrifically caught by Travis Head, who had a fantastic game. We'll come back to that later. But then Virat Kohli, and then came Shreyas Iyer, and then the captain brought himself and put the squeeze on the Australians with Shreyas Iyer, who had scored 2 consecutive centuries, getting out to a peach of a delivery from Pat Cummins. And then Virat Kohli and KL Rahul tried to steady the things, and Australia bowled some very beautiful. They kept the things under control from Kohli and Rahul, and did not let them get going. And then when Pat Cummins had Virat Kohli out bowled at 54, India were left with too much to do. Promoted Ravindra Jadeja and KL Rahul both decided, but they never got going. As in Australia, apart from Australia squeezed them out, and the tail was exposed pretty quickly. Not even Surya Kumar Yadav could provide the late flourish, as India just limped along to 240, which looked a good score, considering they have had a great bowling side. This is their second. Was their second lowest total in this World Cup. They beat England after making 229. They beat them by 100 runs. But this was Australia in a high-pressure World Cup final, and Australia started off in aggressive fashion with Jasprit Bumrah and Shami trying to put the brakes on the. Doing all they could to put the brakes on the Aussies batting. Warner went quickly with a brilliant catch from Virat Kohli, but then Mitchell Marsh came in and blazed his way. But then India had a passage where they could have controlled things with getting Mitchell Marsh and Steve Smith out early at 47 for 3. But it was Travis Head who played an absolute fantastic game, considering a player who didn't travel with the squad and was out injured before the World Cup, and joined the team in the New Zealand game and scored a century there as well. And Australia waited on this player because they knew his abilities to win games for Australia, and how he delivered. In a high pressure situation against India, he kept his nerves and played an absolute fantastic innings, and became the second batsman after Aravinda De Silva in 1996 to make a century in a chase. This was an absolute superb innings from Travis Head. He was helped ably by another cricketer who was under pressure for his place in the side, because they thought who would replace Travis Head once he comes back. But Marnus Labuschagne played an absolute fantastic second hand with enable partnership to Travis Head, played his natural brilliant game, and Australia were able to get over the line. And India, after the initial assaults of Jasprit Bumrah, who bowled, I think, his heart out. But Mohammad Shami also was bowling well enough, but India negated their efforts. The spinners couldn't make much of an impact, and I think the absence of Hardik Pandya could have made a difference, but it was not to be. It was not India's game. Probably Mohammad Siraj was introduced too late in the innings. He was given just 3 overs at the start, and India probably didn't have Rohit Sharma probably didn't have much confidence in him. But somehow India were totally got lacked ideas, and Australia were totally dominant. They had the short ball idea on India, and they bowled absolutely according to the plan. And Pat Cummins, well, you take a bow. You have been an inspirational captain for Australia, who have had a magnificent year, winning the World Test Championship, also against India in the final, and then they won the Ashes. And because the priorities were right, because Pat Cummins skipped the IPL, he didn't want to get too much of a workload for himself, and he fine-tuned himself for the Ashes, the World Test Championship, and then the World Cup. And Australia, well, they arrived at this World Cup under a bit of a disappointing series, after a few disappointing series, but they had lost to South Africa and India, but and also didn't start off pretty well. But they showed that why they are they are the champions of the world, because they played like champions, and it was an individual performance filled with the some absolutely, because each and every one player in this tournament stood up when it was required. Be it Glenn Maxwell against Afghanistan, David Warner, who gave them much needed inspiration when Australia were not in their best form. Even against Sri Lanka, they had been 128 for they were struggling, because Sri Lankan openers had got to 128, but they came back from that game. And I think the impetus started from David Warner getting dropped in Pakistan's game, and dropped by Usama Mir in the game, and then they transformed their game from there. And Australia gained from strength to strength, and put on 2 magnificent performances against 2 highly quality sides in South Africa and India, and they have been absolute brilliant as always. So just like '99, where Australia were on the brink, they came back strongly, and this again shows that you can never ever write off the Australian side ever. While for India, well, they will be disappointed to see that the whole crowd, of India was anticipating a 3rd title, but it was not to be. They had played the perfect game in the first 10 matches, but their batting, they were not tested at all batting first in these conditions, apart from the game against England, where they were burned out for 229. But this time around, Australia put the squeeze on. This wasn't a pitch that had demons in it. It still had some runs, but Australia bowled to a plan, and the plan was executed brilliantly by them. Pat Cummins coming from it, but India, well, you can say Rohit Sharma played a poor shot, but the rest of the Indian batting was just under too much pressure. Maybe so. After 2011, India are yet to win an ICC trophy, and they have stumbled at the last hurdle. The 2017 Champions Trophy, be it the 2 World Cups in 15 and 19, where they were knocked out in the semi-finals after playing absolutely flawless cricket before that. So the last hurdle has not been crossed by India for the last 12 years, which is maybe the 2013 after the 2013 Champions Trophy. It's been 10 years since India have been deserted from a world title, as 2 World Test Championship finals have also been lost. So India need to work on its skills, because they need to clear the last hurdle, because all the efforts, all the absolute brilliances of the batsmen and bowlers go in vain. But take nothing from them. They played superb cricket. They're still a very, very difficult side to beat. They have a quality bowling lineup in Jasprit Bumrah, Siraj and Shami. Both are terrific players, but they need to find that last hurdle. I need to really can't say anything if it was any other side other than Australia who would have played them. They might have just have won, but it was not their day today for India, and they will be highly disappointed. So congratulations to Australia for winning this tournament, and this has been a fantastic tournament. Probably not for the Indian fans, as they wanted a perfect finish, but Australia stole it from them right from under their noses. So so that's it. That was the World Cup 2023, and Australia winning it for the 6th time. And so it was from us. For me, congratulations to Australia, and we'll be back with more videos and more highlights. I hope you enjoyed my analysis, and we will be back with more to come. Thank you very much.